I'd like to share with you a solution I found to fans that are too noisy or running very slow or not spinning as optimal as it should. Most of the time you will normally go and replace the fan. And some fans are really hard to obtain, such as this model here, and can be quite expensive to obtain, usually from overseas. And here I'm going to share with you a solution that is working like a magical wonder I discovered recently. So two things you will need is one is a sewing machine oil, multi-purpose oil. You only need a drop of it, and also a lubricant, a grease lubricant, and I'll show you what I do in this video. You also need to pull the fan apart completely so you can get access to the components required so you can apply the grease and the oil. So continue watching. This will work on any fan literally. So here we got the HP Spectre x360 13, and these machines are usually very thin and the fans are small and not enough airflow in the design of the board. They can sustain high amounts of heat, but they do get noisy and they do make a lot of noise, and so I'll show you how you can fix that problem here. So you'll find there are two fans in this model. As you can see, it doesn't spin as optimally when I spin with my hand. Now there's two fans. The small one, as you can see here, is we call that, say, primary, and the one on the right is the main one, secondary if you like. When the system gets really hot, the second one kicks in, and that's where the noise is coming from. So I do recommend you shut the computer down fully, disconnect the battery. And so now we're going to focus on the fan on the right side. So this model, we don't need to remove the battery or the motherboard to get to the fan. So we're gonna take the fan out of its position. And in this video, while working on this laptop, I did have difficulty removing the power and the data cable for the fan. It's a little bit difficult, so it took me a little while. I'll show you that too. And just take your time. You don't want to break any of the thin wires that are attached to it. Otherwise you'll have to go and buy a new fan or solder the thin wires back together, which won't be fun doing. So much trouble just to remove a fan. So now we're going to remove a couple of screws, tiny little screws for this fan. Some fans have screws, some don't, some use tape around it, some have little clips. This has both screws and clips, so I'm going to use a sharp tool to pry the clips open and get access to the fan. And I do recommend using a mounting tool later on to hold the fan securely in a place so you can work in the guts of the fan. I'll show you shortly. Alright, so I got my bench tool here. I'm just gonna put the fan in the middle. It will make it easy for me to work with. You don't want to damage the fan, so use 2 pliers, like what I've got here. Just gently lift it off. There we go. It's held by a magnet, I believe. There's coils there where they get charged and discharged at rapid rates, which cause the fan to spin. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna apply just a drop of oil right in the middle. In this case, this one I can drop it right in the middle, and then I'm going to apply the grease onto the fan side. So this goes into the motor side, right in the middle. Just one single tiny little drop will do. It will just seep in there. If you put too much, just get a tissue and just wipe it around so it doesn't go to the electronic components. You want to keep it as clean as possible. I did put a little bit too much, so I'll just give it a quick gentle wipe and just ensure that the liquid actually goes on the inside, just like that. I'm just, making a little path for it to flow into. Now I've just put some grease on the fan. There's a little pin sticking out. So it's just a lubricant grease. You can buy really cheap ones off, AliExpress and whatnot. Try and get a quality one locally if you can. Something that has good reviews. This one had a good reviews, and I tried it on a couple of fans as well some time ago, and it worked really well. I forgot all about it. So I decided to use the solution again, and this will give the fan a new life instead of just replacing, because there's nothing really wrong with it mechanically, like electronically. Cable's fine, the motor is fine, controller is fine. It's just worn out from extensive use. And this laptop is mainly used for gaming, believe it or not, so the fan does get a lot of use. So this should definitely help out. When you're putting it back in, you just want to make sure you get the pin right in the middle. You don't want it touching any other parts, then you'll get grease all around the board. So just be careful. It took me a little while here to put it back together, just to show you that it's not always as easy as it seems on the videos. And over time this will start to work better and better. And one thing I do recommend is usually there is a tape between the copper heating on the right side and the fan in between, which ensures that the air flows tightly and only through the channels that are open. So this should help it run a little bit cooler. So I'm just going to put a little bit more tape on the right side there. It's up to you to do this, you don't have to. And that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this will help you if you're on fan noise issues. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to support this channel.